Within the depths of this game's canonical lore and fictional representations, the amplification of modern scientific structure is self-evident. One such example is the ability to inflict heavy damage on flesh, bones and the like through a fictional status effect known as Blight. Blight is most notably used by the Plague Doctor and respective skills, Noxious Blast and Plague Grenade. When used by said character, it seemingly releases a gaseous-like substance that damages opponents over time. In order for this to damage a biological specimen, it would either need to physically eat away at their body, or damage the brain's ability to function. As this doesn't affect how an enemy functions in the game, the physical damage to the body is what causes it. There are many different forms of Blight from liquid to gas, but the way to cure it stays the same, through flasks of antivenom. As venom takes precedence through the host's bloodstream and takes out vital organs, this form of cure is misrepresented in its naming convention as it affects both organic and non-organic beings such as skeletons. As Blight is neither neurotoxic or venomous, it must be acidic, leading to corrosion. To take a literal approach towards the name, Blight is a plant disease typically caused by fungi that infests and rots the organic substance. Therefore, this is more closely related to acid and not toxins. Therefore Plague Grenade, Adder's Kiss and Poison Dart is irrelevant. So we need to focus on the skills that may have real-life consequences. Firstly, Beast's Bile. Bile in humans is not normally acidic or alkaline, so analogous burns using this wouldn't be possible. Therefore we have to look at other biological organisms such as bombardier beetles and wood ants, as they are able to produce substances that burn predators. When an aqueous solution composed of hydroquinone and hydrogen peroxide reaches the vestibule, catalysts decompose the peroxide and oxidize the hydroquinone. This reaction is exothermic, which means it is able to reach near boiling point, and the built-up pressure allows the fluid to be shot out at high speeds, burning and even crippling the victim. Wood ants are also able to secrete formic acid through glands, a dangerous chemical at high concentration. So the biological deterioration caused by glands secreting or producing acidic fluids is possible. Now on to Noxious Blast and Festering Vapors. Noxious Blast is one of the most deadly skills in the game due to the high DPS output. Acidic vapors are possible in nature, but unlike aqueous solutions, acidic concentration is much lower, leading to minor chemical burns through pores or openings in the body. This means that, unlike other skills in this list, it is one of the least deadliest to the outside of an organism, which is counterintuitive given the damage output. Where this status effect becomes strange and inconsistent is through enemy abilities and resistances. Blight seems to predominantly reside within the Weald due to the ancestors' memoirs.
As time wore on, her wild policy of self-experimentation grew intolerable. She quaffed all manner of strange fungi, herbs, and concoctions, intent on gaining some insight into the horror we both knew to be growing beneath us. The change in her was appalling, and no longer able to stomach it, I sent her to live in the Weald, where her wildness would be welcomed.
When the ancestor banished the hag to the Weald after being disgusted by her appearance, she began to use her discovery of an odd, parasitic fungus to transform the woodland into something more sinister. Now the road leading to the town is blighted with a fungal infestation that has taken over the ecosystem, hiding the hordes of zombified victims under the control of the fungus being spread by the witches that serve under the hag. Looking at fungal-ridden monsters residing in this place, and their constituent skills and resistances, Blight either seems to be caused from an extreme genetic mutation in fungal organisms or a derivation of some sort, which coincides with and propagates the validity of the name. Although, where this effect becomes very strange is with inanimate objects such as carpentry and ironwork, and beasts such as adders and spitters, akin to real-life creatures. They possess the ability to use Blight, but in a venomous way, which is simply disregarded as an overlooked feature of the game, or to provide simplicity as a new type of effect would need to be devised in order to coincide with the discrepancies. With inanimate objects, they possess very high levels of blight resistance, but if this effect were to resemble an acidic nature, it would be able to corrode it much like an organic being. In conclusion, this status effect is an important yet overlooked part of the game, that would be technically possible if the game were to be kept stagnant in its lawful telling in order to avoid aforementioned inconsistencies.